What up guys, Superman983 here bringing us another album review, and this time we've got some really dark and blackened, just intense, brutal deathcore for you to check out today. But yeah, I'm going to be reviewing the new album from the band Bonecarver entitled Carnage Funeral. This is going to be released on the 11th of November through Unique Leader Records. Now, if you're not too familiar with Bonecarver, they are a 4-piece brutal deathcore band hailing from Spain, and I first got into this band when they were under their old name, which was Cannibal Grandpa, and I've got one of their releases on CD right here, which is called Septum Signa Inferno. Yeah, I saw them at one of the Fall in the Brawls, I think it was 2018 if my memory serves, and they were absolutely incredible. I really enjoyed them, and I picked up this CD, and it's absolutely incredible. Give it a listen. It's more of a slamming, brutal deathcore release, so if that sounds up your alley, then definitely check this out. It's fantastic. If you're a fan of Vulvodynia, this is where you need to go. But yeah, the band changed their name and signed to Unique Leader Records and released their debut album last year entitled Evil. Now, Evil, I did get the promo for last year, and I did check it out, and honestly, I would say it's a different kettle of fish compared to this album what we're going to be talking about. It's more of a straight-up brutal deathcore release, but it's got a lot of influences from like straight-up death metal in there. So if that sounds up your alley, definitely check it out. And I even went back to listen to the album after quite a few months. I went back to check it out, and it is still a very good album to listen to, so definitely check it out. But it's a different kettle of fish compared to this album. So yeah, this is the band's second full-length album, Carnage Funeral. It's 9 tracks and runs around 39 minutes in length. And when I say that this is a different kettle of fish, I mean this is easily one of the most barbaric and just evil-sounding deathcore records I've heard so far in 2022. There's been so many quality deathcore releases this year, like Spite, Awake in Providence, Shadow of Intent, Last 10 Seconds of Life, amongst others. It's been such a great year for deathcore, and it's going to get better, I know that. But this album is quickly making its way up my top albums list, because this album, ever since I got the promo from Unique Leader Records, I cannot turn this album off. Like, this gives us the same feeling of when I first heard Inferus by Mental Cruelty, because for example, Purgatorium was kind of along the same sort of lines as Evil was. Like, it was more straight up brutal deathcore. It's got the slam elements, it's got the death metal elements. Whereas this one, they're definitely reaching more into like blackened deathcore territory. And I would class this more as of a straight up more blackened deathcore release, and it definitely has that sort of feel in the songwriting as well. Like, and also the symphonic elements creating this really dark atmosphere from the get-go on the song, the title track, Carnage Funeral, which kicks off the album, and it was the first song they released. And I knew straight away, like, listening to this, I was like, okay, I'll check this out, because I'm always up for giving bands the opportunity, multiple albums, what have you. And I was like, okay, this is not the Bonecarver that I remember. So when listening to it, I was like, holy shit, like, this is some menacing. It kind of put us in mind, especially listening to it, listening to the single on its own. I definitely heard some influences from the likes of AngelMaker, for example, A Night in Texas, especially in the vocal department. But I heard all these symphonic elements coming in, and it really sounded absolutely incredible. It sounded massive, and I was like, wow, these guys have really changed up their sound and gone for some true, just intense blackened deathcore. But I would definitely say Carnage Funeral is kind of like a little bit of an oddball on the album, because I would say that song is more orientated around a death metal sort of structure and feel to it. It doesn't feel as slammy as the rest of the album. I mean, and that goes into Ancient Atrocity, which is another amazing song. But when you get to The Reckoning, that's when things take a little bit of a turn, and it still has that blackened sort of atmosphere on there, but it definitely gets on a straight, angry, just pissed off, brutal deathcore attack that's just pounding as fuck, and you're just like, oh, this is the Bonecarver that I remember, but it just sounds a lot more sinister, a lot more diabolical, and just drenched in atmosphere, and it just makes it seem a lot more unnerving to listen to. Like, I really feel like this is a very intense record to listen to, and it's not an album that you listen to for the sheer enjoyment, to put a smile on your face. This is an album that you listen to pull the stink face, to just be immersed in this dark and twisted, brutal ride that is Carnage Funeral. I absolutely love the progression of this album, because it really feels like an intense record that's not gonna let go. Like, once it starts throughout Carnage Funeral, after the intro of the synths and the build up, it, from the minute the musicianship comes in, it's not gonna let go. It's not gonna slow down. It's gonna slow down, but it's gonna be a more pounding, slow, heavy punch into the ground. It's not gonna let out. It is absolutely relentless. And then we get on to one of my favourite tracks on this album, which is the 4th track called Thorned. Oh, dear God, like that, if that doesn't make you just fill with a lot of intensity and animosity, just absolute hatred billowing out of this track, you're not a true deathcore fan, because that song is one of my favourite songs on this album. But my favourite song has to go to the 5th track, Pillars of Tragedy. Holy shit, man, that song is absolutely fucking incredible. And I will say, the breakdown at the end is easily one of the heaviest breakdowns I've heard this year. And I said it about a song on Spike's album, but this one's overtook it. Man alive, that is easily one of my favourite songs of the year, just for that breakdown alone. And I know I'm a sucker for it, but what can I say? But yeah, as I said at the start, this is a 4-piece band, so there's only 2 guitars, vocals and drums. There's probably some bass being recorded on there, but the overall sound and the production behind it just sounds absolutely incredible. Like, the synths can create this kind of like blackened atmosphere over some like really death metal orientated sections, but then when the guitars come in with these tremolo atmospheric black metal sections, it just takes you to another dimension of darkness and just blackness. It just sounds all that more evil. But I would say it doesn't fall into that sort of category of Lorna Shore, for example, or even the Breathing Process, who are also on Unique Leader. I would say this falls into a more brutal blackened deathcore sort of sound. It sounds absolutely mega, and there is bands like Mental Cruelty and especially A Hill to Die Upon. I would definitely think if you're a fan of that or Inferus, you will find something to love about this Bonecarver album, because it is really blown me with the overall sound of this album. Like, it sounds absolutely mega. And then the rest of the album is absolutely incredible as well. And one other track I definitely want to talk about is the second to last track, which is called Horror Disorder, which rolls off the tongue so nicely, I will say. But yeah, absolutely incredible track. And as I said, I love the vocal range on this album, because the higher range definitely puts us in mind of A Night in Texas meets AngelMaker, but then also the lower sort of side of it comes across like Luca, formerly of Mental Cruelty, you know, fuck him. But anyway, but yeah, I will say that fucking vocal performance is absolutely incredible. It definitely adds to the whole twisted atmosphere, like the higher range. When it reaches that sort of high range where it's like, it goes high, but then it screeches a little bit, just a little bit, and it just gives it that sort of more, a slight twisted atmosphere to it. It becomes another level of Blackened, if you ask me. That's the overall sound, because a lot of black metal, you do hear that raspy sort of vocal a lot, where it doesn't sound overall clean and just sounds scratchy as fuck. But when it just tweaks into that, in brutal deathcore, I absolutely love it. It just hits that certain nerve in me system, shall we say, that I'm just like, I feel unnerving just listening to it. It's chilling, absolutely chilling. But overall, it is a brutal release. Like, it's not just black metal left, right and centre. There is death metal elements, there's groove in there, and it makes you want to headbang, I will say. And then the breakdowns, as I said before, especially on the song, like I said, Pillars of Tragedy, it hits so fucking hard, man. Like that breakdown. Ooh, if there is a tally of the best breakdowns of the year, that one is up there. There's some other ones that I can think of, but that one easily has surprised me the most. And this album has definitely surprised me. Like as I said, I wasn't really a massive feeler for Evil, to be honest. I felt like it was good, but yeah, this album is Bonecarver just pushing their boundaries and becoming an absolute unit. And this album is going to be an absolute unit in 2022, should I say. I'm going back 2 years here. But honestly, make sure you check out this album. I am absolutely loving this record. I can't turn it off, and the more I listen to it, the more it gets bumped up my top albums list. And if you've heard Carnage Funeral, just be ready for when this album drops, because it is going to smash people's fucking faces in. I think it's absolutely incredible. And I will say, Grind Design's artwork, absolutely incredible. I think he is a very unique artist, and when he does do art, he hasn't done it an awful lot over the years, but his work is absolutely fucking incredible. And this might be some of my favourite work that he's done artistic wise. I just love the red, and it really creates this sort of atmosphere compared to Evil. It shows that they're going, it feels like they're going for a more darker sort of approach with the artwork, like the transitioning and stuff. It just looks great. I think it looks fantastic, and it matches the album perfectly. And yeah, make sure you check it out. It's absolutely fantastic. For an overall score though, I'm going to give this a solid, you know what? I'm going to give this a solid 10 out of 10. I think this is a fucking incredible album. There is nothing that I don't like about this album. The more I listen to it, the more I love it. It may be short-ish, 39 minutes, but it hits the sweet spot in that short period of time and makes you want to go back and listen to it. And you will do. It's fucking incredible. So make sure you check out the new album, Bonecarver, Carnage Funeral, out 11th of November through Unique Leader Records. There'll be links down below of where you can check out the pre-orders. There is some sexy clothing on there, and I might actually get myself some. We'll see what happens. And also, Carnage Funeral is going to be in my Super Metal Risk for Days playlist, which you can find down below, and you'll find links to my socials and all that. Make sure to subscribe and check out my other videos. I would really appreciate it. I've got more videos coming. They're coming short and sweet, as I say, because like I'm trying not to oversaturate myself, you know, and run myself down. So yeah, I'll see you until next video, and remember, stay metal, and I'll see you later.